ECU?
R.
Do you bleed purple and gold? Are you ready to hoist the colors?
Hoist the colors!
It's time for the most in-depth look into the world of ECU athletics. Welcome to Hoist the Colors with your host, Stephen Igo on 94.3 The Game. Watch the show live on Facebook and at 943thegame.com. Here's Stephen Igo.
Welcome in. East Carolina is still Military Bowl champions. We'll get into that. It's back-to-back years. Pirates take down the Pittsburgh Panthers 23-17. Yes, we're still celebrating. And we're going to celebrate even more today because guess who's back? Marc Miller, disgruntled Pittsburgh fan himself.
Even more disgruntled, apparently.
Even more. Welcome back, my friend. How you feeling?
What's up, man? I've had better weekends, but truth be told, I did have a great weekend there in Annapolis. It was a terrific spot. Got together with some of my old college buddies. Had a blast until about that 11 a.m., right?
Yeah, it was the early kickoff.
Early kickoff. We started early. We had ourselves a good time, and then the game happened. And I guess you want to get into that, don't you?
We do. We'll go step by step, and really break it down. Philip Pilkington, he's back producing, making sure we're live on YouTube, Facebook, and X. Philip, how you doing?
Good. I'm excited. Anytime we get to bring Mark on and make fun of him, it's a good time. But, you know, if we have a little time at the end, we're going to talk about the end of Mark's weekend and make fun of someone else for just being idiots. See, Pitt wasn't idiots. They just lost. Somebody else that did affect Mark's football team, but it affected his team in a positive way because someone else is an idiot, and his Eagles got the win. So we'll let him talk about that just to make him happy because Mark's our friend and he's a nice guy. So you know we'll let him gloat about that after we make fun of him.
That's very fair. All right.
Thanks.
So first off, Kevin Cozart in the chat says, "Where's Mark's ugly gear?" So to be fair, we did have a bet that he would wear a pirate outfit. Now, what we didn't figure out is who was going to get that pirate outfit with the eye patch and all that.
Yeah.
And so eventually, I guess we'll find it.
I would imagine, since if you, and this is some bet, right? Like, if Pitt won, you were going to wear a jacket that you thought was cool. You were even like, that's actually kind of a sweet jacket.
Yeah.
If ECU wins, I have to wear a pirate outfit. I would imagine, since I provide the jacket, you would have to provide the pirate gear.
That is very fair. So what we'll do is, and this is a quick turnaround, you know,
right.
Saturday to Tuesday. I was going to give it some time to breathe, and you were like, hey, man, I guess you want me on the show this week. And this is our last show of the week because we're taking off for New Year's. So what I will do is I will find a way to get some Pirates material, and we'll get you back on one more time just to show it off. Maybe you can wear it the whole day at the office and everything.
If I got to do it, I got to do it. I got to make good on my bet. I got to take it and take my medicine.
So Marc Miller with us. We will get into the transfer portal storylines later in the show, but we want to focus on Mark right now. So, all right, let's get into it. We know the ECU side of things, where the game, you know, kind of what the game means to the fan base, and you know I think the proud Pirate fans are proud right now because they were big underdogs. Yeah. They found a way to win with a lot of guys out. All right, the Pitt angle. We'll start first from the Pittsburgh fan, you know, who doesn't have maybe ties to Greenville and ECU like you do. So, like, where's the Pitt fan base right now?
Well, and I want to paint a picture for you. The Pitt fan base is not in a good place. They weren't in a good place to start when the bowl game was announced. They were upset. I feel like I was the only one who was not upset because what a great opportunity. Yeah. This is going to be a lot of fun. They were upset from the beginning because they thought they deserved a better bowl. And when I got there, and we're tailgating, having a good time, and we get in our seats, and the game starts, and I can hear ECU's fans at a volume and intensity that I would expect at a big game. ECU's fans brought it, the passion from across the stadium, and some people who were in our section, my kids, and a bunch of others wearing their ECU gear. It was loud and proud, and it was awesome. And I feel like the team played in that same way, with heart and with spirit. Everyone was locked in that same way. Every ECU representative at that game, on the field and off the field, same intensity, same energy. At the same time, the Pitt fan base, I lost my voice. My buddies, we lost our voices. We did what we do.
Y'all were doing what y'all do.
But that side of the stadium was dead. And I know our team didn't give us a lot of reason to be alive and to be excited, but there wasn't much energy in that side. It reminded me of a group of people, or it made me think, oh, this is a group of people who are not excited that their team is here. And I think that Pitt's football team completely emulated that as well. I think they played without, and it's not to take away from the job that Coach Harrell and the players did. This is all credit goes to them for being that way on the field, for galvanizing in the middle. And there's some tough circumstances over the past couple of weeks. So big credit to them. But from my standpoint, you asked for my standpoint, it was disappointment, just complete disappointment that the team approached it that way, because it looked like that the entire game. That's how they approached the game, like they did not want to even be there.
And I can echo it just from being in the press box. We were on the ECU side, and you could hear the ECU fans, which we were close to them, but also it just felt like the Pitt fans, like you said, from my vantage point, weren't into the game either. And,
no, they were not.
I think I did see, 3 guys making some noise, and I think that was you and your buddies, and that was about it. But, yeah, the game happens, obviously, and probably the 11 a.m. kickoff has something to do with this, too. Like, nobody wants to play a football game at 11 a.m. Like, did you even have time to tailgate?
Oh, we found time. Yeah, we woke up early. We got there early. We had a few walking around, and
it was cold.
I mean, it was really cold. It was a little miserable, but it was a joy to be there. I loved it, and that's no excuse, because one whole side of the stadium did not reflect, oh, it's cold, it's early, right? ECU fans were ready. ECU players were absolutely ready. We looked like we were running through mud half the time. Head wasn't in it, fumbling. I mean, the muffin, the punts, all this dumb stuff.
Dropping the pitch. So when did you start to get really worried? Like, all right, we actually might lose this game, because you can overcome a slower start.
I think it was the first. So as a Pitt fan, I am historically and most consistently a fatalist. So if something does go wrong, I'm like, well, here we go again. That first touchdown. That made it 10-7. Was that the third quarter?
Yeah, Anthony Smith. Yep, called the touchdown.
Made it 10-7, and I was like, oof, that looked too easy. And then you, of course, have the series of events with the touchdown that was called back for ECU because of the phantom whistle, inadvertent whistle. The dumbest thing I ever heard. I was sitting there trying to figure out what it was. They never showed a replay. I kept saying, all right, we got to see the replay. And they didn't show a replay in the stadium. And I'm like, okay, he must have stepped out of bounds. Like, I didn't know. I was blown away with the number of University of Pittsburgh football players that were just apparently standing there in that space. I mean, nobody got a hand on the dude. So they call that back. We get the touchdown from Biles, who we should talk about at some point.
Incredible.
And then immediately, the next play, I think, after the kick, was the second touchdown to Smith.
And that's when, to me, I felt the game was over for ECU after the call and the scoop and score, because that was just a back-breaking turn. It was a heartbreaking spot, yeah. And for Pitt, obviously ECU made the play. Anthony Smith, great play, great catch and run. You had 2 Pitt guys run into each other trying to make the tackle. That basically took the momentum that Pitt had gained and switched it. And then after that, I was like, all right, ECU's got a great shot to win this game. And then, if you don't give up that gash play there, you probably win the game, because otherwise ECU could not drive the field on them. They just didn't have the quarterback, the offense to do it. But Anthony Smith, I said it going in, he had to make some big plays, and he did. Absolutely huge. And, boy, his speed just shone through on that play right there. And you're right about the running into each other. I swear you could take a highlight reel of Pitt mishaps in this game, put it to the Benny Hill music. Someone needs to do that, because it was a comedy of errors. It was a comedy of just carelessness. And again, that makes me think, I don't want to sound to the people listening that I'm not giving ECU credit. First and foremost, it's Coach Harrell, it's the players. They came to play. They were together during a time that was really tough with a lot of outside noise. But I can't let my team off the hook. I'm really disappointed in what they put forth, right? They could have done a little bit more. So, good season for Pitt. We talked about it going into the bowl. How much does this sour it? I mean, we'll get into the personal side, how long you have to hear about this, because it's going to be quite some time. Forever. But just this season alone, does this just take away from what they accomplished? Absolutely. This is typical Pitt football. This is exactly what happens. You leave the season forgetting about the good, because what the heck just happened? And that's what's lingering and we'll see what happens with the transfer portal and all that.
This is just the thing that lingers. Yeah, they might have found a quarterback. We certainly thought that going into the bowl game. He did not look right at all. And that's, again, big shout
He looked confused
to the pressure that was coming from the ECU defense. Although at times he had some time, but he looked completely lost. There were times, in the season, he's got a little bit of time. He knows there's nothing there. He tucks it. He starts moving. He finds a way. He looked like a deer lost in the headlights in that whole game.
Marc Miller with us. He is the even more disgruntled Pittsburgh fan after ECU beats his Panthers 23-17. All right, so the personal side of this.
Yeah.
You've got your children who pulled for ECU. And so they sat on the Pitt side with you?
They sat on the Pitt side. I told them halfway through, or even towards the beginning, I was like, do you guys want to go to the ECU side? We knew some people there. We saw some people before the game. Are you sure you guys don't want to go to the ECU side? They're like, no, this is fun. And my oldest is he's trolling everybody. And I'm like, this guy's going to get punched in the face. And both of my old college buddies, they're looking at me and they're like, dude, that's you. He's turned into you. This is exactly how I was when I was his age and a little bit older. So I guess I got to, cats in the cradle and the silver spoon. He's turning into me. What am I going to do about that? Yeah, it's just you forget about the good of the season, and you know that anytime I see anybody I'm going to hang out with, I know baseball season's 2 months away, right?
Yep.
Anytime I see anybody, first time I step out to that tailgate, you know what I would always wear ECU stuff to baseball games, plus
Pittsburgh hat,
a Pitt hat, or one of my other sports teams' hats. Those are what I would do. That thing's getting chucked away for a while. I'm done for a while. I don't need to have this brought up every time I see somebody around town.
Well, that's the worst part about it for you is that I don't think ECU and Pittsburgh are going to play anytime soon in football. And so this look, they went, 1992 to 2026, what was that, 34 years?
I got another 34 years.
I mean, you could honestly go the rest of your life without ECU and Pittsburgh playing football, and you might have to wear this. You will never forget about it. I'm sure you thought about this, but...
No, I actually haven't thought about that particularly. So thank you very much for bringing that up. I will now think about that for a very long time.
Somebody told me that you had some decorations in your office upon return. How did that go?
I know who that somebody was. Oh, you posted the picture of it. Nice. By the way, you can still see I got my Pitt pennant up there and the Eagles stuff and stuff.
There was no vandalism. I did not vandalize any of his personal belongings. I just added some of the station's belongings that are ECU to his
I got some
office.
Dumb stuff on my desk, by the way. You should zoom in on some of that stuff.
You got a big office, man. Or maybe it's just the vantage.
No, he's got a big office. I think he's actually got the biggest office. Other than Henry, he's got the biggest office here.
Well, high roller, man.
Obviously. No. They should do something about the shade thing there. But other than that, it was. I walked into that. I couldn't help but laugh. That was well orchestrated there, Philip. Thank you.
I appreciate it. I had to do something during, Cecilia was posting the game. It wasn't my turn yet to do my final 2 segments, so I was like, I'm bored. Let me go terrorize Mark's office.
Hey, look, if you want to get a live look at the disgruntled Pitt fan, you can just come through and look. You can peer through the shades if you're watching our YouTube feed. You can watch him at his desk, just rethinking his life,
thinking about what could have been. That's exactly right. We thought we were sitting there and we were laughing at the end of that game. I was frustrated throughout the game, and the clock management at the end. I don't know how much you want to talk about specifics, but I don't.
What were they doing?
Where they could have kioked a field goal with 3.5 minutes to go or 4 minutes to go.
And not to cut you off, but the reporters, Chris Peak, who does a great job with Panther Layer 24/7 Sports, he was asking Narduzzi after the game, did you think about kicking it on the 4th down earlier in the drive? And Narduzzi didn't understand what he was asking. He couldn't comprehend it. So it wasn't the best look for Narduzzi because they ended up kicking it anyways 2 minutes later. Right. And that whole sequence, they had 1st and goal from the 1. And to have to get a field goal there, they burned the 2-minute timeout. Yep. They burned probably a minute of game clock. That was a critical sequence as well that people don't talk about.
And then, because he had the playbook on how to do it because Washington did it on Thursday. The Commanders did.
Oh, yeah.
They kicked the field goal early. Now, unfortunately for them, Dallas got in a really good 4-minute offense and ran the timeout. But, Had Dallas not done that, they'd have been in a good spot.
And it's not, sure, he could have been watching that game, but he also is a coach, and he's been a coach for a long time and should have some shred of common sense. We were all saying it in the stands, and we all had a lot to drink, and we were still dropping the common sense at that point that, hey, you take the field goal there, you get the points, you get the stop. And even more than that was the fact that it was almost like it was a drive. It was a clock-killing drive. There was zero urgency the entire way down. They're using every second of the clock, and they're doing the weird, fake snap. I guess trying to make them jump. They made it like 16 times with the clapping.
Yep.
I was like, enough with the clapping. You have no time to clap. Just
and they had been
play.
going super fast earlier in the game, and it's like, all right, now we're going to go slow.
Oh yeah, it makes perfect sense. That's Pitt football, and that's what we were sitting there laughing at the end of the game. Like my buddies and I, we've been doing this for 30 years, almost 30 years now. I started going to Pitt 96, 97, and we're not expecting something different at this point. This is just what it is. This is what it's always been, except for maybe 2 years in the last 30. That's crazy, by the way. And I guess ECU fans can relate in a way, but I don't know. It feels unique to us.
Look, every fan base has it bad, but I will say after talking to you and watching that unfold Saturday, that y'all have it pretty bad too. So
there you go.
What's next for Pitt? Like I saw a tweet earlier today that it was some like cryptic Twitter tweet with a Pitt helmet, like changes could be coming. Like I don't know what that means, but like there's no way Narduzzi's being fired. I don't think.
No, his
Aiden
buyout's pretty huge because our last athletic director after the Kenny Pickett year, after they went to the Peach Bowl, which was one of the 2 years.
Yeah.
She gave him like an 8-year contract extension or something like that.
8 years?
I think it was. I might be thinking of Jeff Capel, who also got an enormous extension after the year we went to the tournament a couple of years ago, and both of them were just like saddled with at this point. Narduzzi, I remember saying on the show before, I felt so stupid after I was on the show last time because one of the things you were asking me how I felt about Narduzzi, and I was like, I mean, he's happy to be there. He wants to be there. And I left here going, why the heck is that a reason to keep somebody? Like, win ball games you should win. That's not,
He's getting paid like $8 million or something insane.
It's $8 million. But he's happy to be. You know why he's happy to be there? Probably has something to do with the $8 million. And I say win games you should, and people are going to say, he's talking about ECU. I'm also talking about Toledo last year. I'm also talking about at least once a year where he blows a game to a crappy school, not named East Carolina University. That one was a legitimate win for you guys. I'm tired of this. A lot of people do think this was him blowing a game to a crappy. It wasn't. But it was a game that we were heavily favored in.
13.5 is what it closed at.
Am I yelling? I'm sorry if I'm yelling.
No, you've got a great radio voice, so you talk however you want to talk into the mic.
As it says, I'm even more disgruntled. That's as it says.
That comes with the territory of that. Joel says, anybody know how my Nittany Lions did? I was watching my Pirates.
Oh God, stop it. Pick one team, bro. Pick one team. Don't let it be
You
that
pull
team.
for Pitt and ECU. If Pitt and ECU were playing at the same time, you would
shut up. Do as I say, not as I do.
There you go. That's great parenting advice.
I do want to give Rasheem Biles a shout out. Maybe the single best individual defensive performance I've seen. I mean, what a monster.
I think we would have lost by 30 if it wasn't for him. I mean, the reason you said they weren't moving the ball a lot, the pressure that he was bringing, and that sack and that fumble recovery, that was great. He's been great all year. Went into the year, Kyle Lewis is the guy. He's going to be the number one guy you have to worry about. And I think by the end of the year, it was Biles.
Yeah, like watching the tape going in, I saw Lewis opt out. I'm like, well, I need Biles to opt out to feel good picking ECU in this game. Mm-hmm. And, I didn't feel good when he played, and obviously he made quite an impact. ECU still able to overcome it. All right, so final thing, Marc Miller, who graciously asked to come on the show. So he wanted to get it out of the way, and we appreciate him coming in. Just how does this change your perspective, if any, going forward? I mean, like, are you more – obviously we know you're more disgruntled as a Pitt fan.
Right.
Do you pull for ECU anymore? Are you ready? Are you ready to make the full conversion to ECU fan? Drop Pitt.
Okay. There's a lot
coming at you.
I was going to ask him the other way around. Is he ticked off and he's never pulling for ECU again? Is what I was going to ask.
See,
That could
I'm
also be
wearing
a
more
factor.
muted colors today. I'm still in mourning over this, but we were talking about it on the way out. How messed up are we in the head that if this matchup came around again next year in a different bowl or maybe in the same bowl, that's usually what happens apparently, we would do the exact same thing, because that's what any of you ECU fans would do in your situation. If you moved up to Pittsburgh, you would be an ECU fan living in Pittsburgh, and you might also end up liking some of the Pittsburgh teams and being a hometown guy. You're going to root for the hometown team. I am a passionate supporter of ECU. You've seen me out there.
Oh, absolutely.
I will continue to do that. This won't linger for me. I'm proud of the work ECU. I'm proud of the work Coach Harrell's done. I think what they did on Saturday was tremendous. I'm terribly upset of what Pitt did, but I'm going to be literally the same person. And that's probably, I'm going to donate my brain to science one day. They're going to open it up and figure out some stuff. This is some weird fan stuff. Why even stick with something that brings you so much, like, not only pain, but pain is going to happen before it happens? Like, that's messed up. There's something wrong up here.
There's something wrong with everybody that's a fan. It's just part of being a sports fan.
I guess
But
so.
that's what makes those 2 years you referenced, that's what makes those 2 years special. For ECU fans, for all the misery,
Right.
That's what makes the win over Pittsburgh special.
There you go.
The highs are worth all the more lows that we take. Because for us, ECU people, Pitt people, sounds like we get a lot of lows, not many highs.
Yeah, I was to say, the other 28 years just building up to those two.
That's what it's all about. Well, Mark, we appreciate you coming on, man.
Thanks, man.
And again, I'll get you the pirate outfit. We'll get you on one last time. Not super long, but just to poke fun at you one more time.
Whenever absolutely. That's what I'm here for.
Appreciate you, man, being a good sport. Marc Miller, appreciate him. Check him out, 107.9 in the mornings. Again, award-winning on-air personality.
Thank you.
And I appreciate you for hopping on the show. We'll get a break and we'll come back. We'll transition to transfer portal storylines. The portal, guys, opens this Friday. And it's already madness. It's going to get even worse. So we'll get into that. This is Hoist the Colors.
The team of Flatlands Jessup is working overtime to help ensure that Eastern North Carolinians like you get the health insurance help you need this open enrollment period. New legislation passed, meaning more people than ever qualify for affordable coverage. Let us help you today.
Big tax credits are back. Get a 30% tax credit, up to $2,000 off your new Mitsubishi electric heat pump install. Let Comfort Master help you take advantage of the tax credits with a qualifying Mitsubishi electric ducted heat pump or non-ducted Mitsubishi electric mini splits. Mitsubishi electric mini splits are ideal for bonus rooms, garages, or sunrooms. If you need a new HVAC unit, call Comfort Master today.
Call Comfort Master. Call Comfort Master.
You know what the problem is with standard belts? Usually you have to choose between too tight or the opposite, too loose. But with Anson Belt and Buckle, you don't have to choose. We got rid of the holes and instead have a track system designed for micro-adjustability. That way you can enjoy a perfect fit every time. Anson Belt and Buckle. Find your perfect fit today.
Healthwise Pharmacy rounds the bases with all of your infusion, retail, compounding, and medical equipment needs. Locally owned and operated by pharmacist Marcy Parker, Healthwise has grown to be your most trusted provider for infusion services. Currently providing in-home or on-site infusions in North Carolina, South Carolina, and Virginia. Visit Healthwise Pharmacy at 615B South Memorial Drive or call 252-295-0059 to speak to a patient service representative to find the option that best suits your needs.
Tired of the 1-800 numbers advertising Medicare products? Flatlands Jessup has 6 offices all throughout Eastern North Carolina. Get face-to-face help from our local award-winning licensed team. Stop by today. Flatlands Jessup, your whole world covered.
The best burgers around. Everyone loves a thick, juicy, and fresh burger. Tiebreakers does real burgers better than anybody. And don't forget about the cheese sticks, fresh salads, and more. So don't just go to any burger-themed restaurant chain. It's time to break the chain and eat local. Tiebreakers. burgers and sports at its best.
Go Pirates! Arg!
In this age of globalization, we've learned that bigger isn't always better. Ever tried to get phone help from a big corporation from a real person? Right. That's what's so nice about Phelps Chevrolet. After more than 50 years serving our community, Phelps remains family-owned and operated. Mike, Daryl, Wave, West, Alan, and Clay deliver hometown service and integrity, same as always. They share your experience, they share your values, and they are ready to help with any motoring need. Come get you one.
Everything you need to know in the world of ECU athletics. This is Hoist the Colors with Stephen Igo on 94.3 The Game.
Welcome back in. Hoist the Colors here on a Tuesday. Again, programming note, this is our final show of this week because New Year's Day coming up. We're taking New Year's Eve off. Also, even if we want to do a show tomorrow, which part of me did, there's the ECU basketball game right at 12 noon Eastern time. So that will be what is on the airways of 94.3 The Game. The Pirates will host Tulane Green Wave at 12 noon inside Minges to begin conference play. So we'll have coverage for you there.
Should we just live stream from the arena, from Media Row?
Why not?
Doing play-by-play.
I'm down. We could just offer our commentary on the game, live watch along. I think we could do it. If anybody's in, let me know. So we're going to have a quick segment here to get us back on track. Marc Miller, awesome first guest, more disgruntled Pitt fan. A couple notes here. We're still running a 50% off special on Hoist the Colors, and I say this, hoistthecolors.net, our online website where you can get VIP coverage. Ton of news happening. Yesterday was crazy. All the coaching moves, all the portal entries, portal departures. We got you covered there. We had the VIP chat, just like 14 pages long at this point. So 50% off. That sale lasts through New Year's, I believe, and then we'll close, so get on it while you can. Also, the ECU Pirate Club, they have, shout out to them, they've set a 10-day goal of raising $113,000 for the Athletics Excellence Fund. A lot of this will go to revenue share, and already they have raised $78,000, nearing $79,000 of that $113,000 goal. And they put this out this morning. Each and every donor, this is over the first 24 hours, so they've almost met the goal. They are in the office today until 2 p.m., and then tomorrow from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. So give them a call, the Pirate Club, 252-737-4540, or go online to ecupirateclub.com/loyalty to help push us past our goal is what they tweeted. So I think this is smart, Philip, trying to capitalize. I got a lot of questions, hey, what are we going to do for fundraisers? I don't know if they can do it. I would go ahead and try to put season ticket sales or season tickets on sale. I know that's usually done like in February, but I just think the momentum right now of this win, Blake Harrell, the belief in him is at like an all-time high. ECU needs to capitalize on this as much as possible. I'm glad that they're at least making this push right now.
Yeah, you got to do it. You got to strike while the match is hot, right? So this is an opportunity to do that. Like you said, if you could do the season ticket thing right now, there's a lot of logistics behind it. So maybe it's not logistically, possible. I don't know what's going on inside the office, but if you could, that's a great suggestion there, Stephen. I do like that. I think it would really help your season ticket sales. And the good thing is, could get some guys leave. We don't want to leave. Yeah, sure. But Blake Harrell's not leaving, right? The coaching carousel's, all but wrapped up. So we're good there. And, hey, I hate to say this, but let's just call a spade a spade. What if it is the last year of Blake Harrell coming up?
They've already started writing those articles, Philip.
Yeah,
Blake
national
Harrell.
people have been writing those articles, not you and the Daily Reflector.
Yeah, I mean, he deserves it. He's gone 14-5 in 19 games. And obviously, look, his goal is going to be on building the best team, winning a conference championship next year. But if he has another good year, I mean, he's definitely going to be a top guy. And that's a good thing for ECU. It's just part of it. All right, Kenny Curlin says, I need some Hoist the Colors swag. Yeah, I need to get back in my bag, as the kids say, and come up with some stuff. Because I do have – all right, Philip's showing off his Hoist. I was wondering where you were going there for a second as you ripped off your sweatshirt. But I have Hoist the Colors shirts through an online marketing firm, whatever you want to call it. And I just need to go in and update some things to republish them. We have an Etsy shop. Right now it's not refresh. But we do have some Hoist the Colors swag, and if I could get, I have all these ideas, and then executing them is the problem. But Kenny, I will do my best over New Year's, over this break, to try and to get some stuff done.
You're not getting a break.
That is
People
true.
are going to start hitting the portal. I'm going to get a break.
The portal is about to be. It's going to make my life miserable. I had to get out yesterday and go for a run because it was just like from 7:30 a.m. to 3 p.m. of sitting and typing or doing the show. I was like, I got to get out of here. I'm exhausted about typing. All right, so who knows? A lot of questions in the chat. Let's tell you what. Let's go ahead and get a break in. We'll get back on track with a break standpoint, and then we will come back. We'll hit on our biggest storylines to watch. With the transfer portal opening up, we have some guys who have already announced they're coming back for next year. That's a major positive as well. We'll discuss some more departures, too, here on Hoist the Colors on a Tuesday. We will be right back.
Storm season is approaching. North Carolina weather can damage your roof, and before long, a small leak can turn into a big problem. Your home is one of your biggest investments, so protect it with Wells Home Improvements.
We work with all insurance companies for a hassle-free roof installation experience. Call us today and get 10% off your roof installation when you mention this commercial.
252-227-8403 or visit us online at wellshomeimprovements.com. Wells Home Improvements. Local, honest, dependable.
This is about you, your family, and the health of all who live in Eastern North Carolina. This is about the transformation of a health system into something more powerful and more human. About creating new ways to treat disease and keep you well. This is about ECU Health, which is to say, it's really all about you. ECU Health. Minds, hearts, purpose.
You have a choice when you invest in insurance, and when you choose First State Insurance Advisors, you're working with people you can trust. Clark Stallings has deep ties in the community. His team, including Keaton Smith, Regina Asby, Phil Leyva, Max Joyner Jr., Max Joyner III, and Ginger Smith, provides knowledgeable and professional advice. First State Insurance Advisors is an independent insurance agency. They offer all types of personal insurance as well as various types for business. Call or email First State Insurance Advisors today. We want to be your trusted choice agency.
Acre Station Meat Farm, along with Lane Angus Beef, bring you Farm to Fork Beef.
Stock your freezers now with affordable beef boxes, just in time for the grilling season.
Farm to Fork Beef brings quality local beef to your family. From your traditional butcher shop, Acre Station Meat Farm. Come on down to Acre Station Meat Farm and find out why we're #1 in fresh cuts and friendly service.
Acre Station Meat Farm, Highway 32 North, Pinetown. At National Finance, we're all about hometown support, just like ECU football. National Finance helps us win on and off the field. They've got your back when you need it most. Fast, easy personal loans for life's big plays. And just like us, they're committed to Eastern North Carolina. National Finance, proud supporters of ECU Athletics. Visit nfcmoney.com for loans as fast as today.
Welcome back in. Hoist the Colors on a Tuesday. Again, final Tuesday. Final show of the week on this Tuesday as we're taking off the rest of the week for New Year's and the holidays. All right. So we've got some comments. I'll try to get to those here in a minute. Some news. Of course, yesterday the news breaking that Jordan Hankins, Memphis defensive coordinator, is coming to be the ECU defensive coordinator. Of course, will replace Josh Aldridge. Pirates will also bring in Juan Soto. No, not the New York Mets outfielder, but the North Texas assistant receivers coach, Juan Soto. He is following North Texas offensive coordinator Jordan Davis to East Carolina. And Davis will obviously call the plays. I assume coach quarterbacks, and Juan Soto will coach the receivers. He replaces Dyrell Roberts, who took the Wake Forest receivers coaching job. Rodney Freeman is going from ECU running backs coach to Duke running backs coach. So a lot of movement there on the staff. We'll keep you updated as more happens. And again, subscribe to Hoist the Colors for more behind the scenes. Also, we saw last night Desiree Riles enter the transfer portal. I was told yesterday he was set to meet with Blake Harrell, and I think he was torn, but ultimately decided to enter the portal. I heard Miami had interest in him early. Not sure where he ends up, but he is a Florida guy. He spent 3 years at ECU. And I will say a lot of these transfers I find pretty replaceable just from, in my opinion, covering ECU, I know what type of athlete typically they can get. Losing Javante Connor and losing Desiree Riles, both those guys are above average athletes compared to what ECU normally gets at the tight end position. So if there's a position I'm worried about, and again, I don't know if the tight end will be as utilized in the Jordan Davis offense as it was in John David Baker, but tight end, they've got some young guys on the roster that I'm high on, but I just don't know, Phillip, if you'll be able to replace those type of guys overnight. We'll see how big of a deal that is. But losing Riles, losing Connor, their size, their athleticism, I think that'll be a little tough to replace, maybe compared to even a quarterback, a receiver, that sort of thing.
Yeah, because anybody with their size and their athleticism, it's just going to be tough to get at a place like this, right? If you were at Florida right now, you wouldn't feel that way because you've got the money. There's only so many guys, there's only so many human beings that are that size and that athletic. And, half of them are playing power forward and half of them are playing tight end, and there's not that many to go around. So it stinks. It's unfortunate, but it's the nature of the beast. Look, I think also, though, to be successful in this conference, you don't necessarily need tight ends of that caliber. I think that was a bonus to have two guys that good. I think this team had the best, 1-2 punch at tight end in the conference this year. So obviously you want to strive to be the best. You want to strive to go out and be the best, find the best that you can find. But if you do not find two guys at that level, it doesn't necessarily mean you're behind the 8 ball or the season's not going to be success or you can't utilize the tight ends in your offense.
All right, John Moody says, hearing anything on TJ Engelman, I thought he showed a lot of upside and potential this year. I would be surprised if TJ didn't come back. I mean, Marlon Gunn is gone. London Montgomery, obviously, left the team. He's gone. So if you're drawing up next year's depth chart, he is your starting running back. I mean, if you're going to pass up that opportunity as a redshirt sophomore at a 9-win program, I think that would be a mistake. Now, if ECU, I'm sure ECU's going to offer him some financial benefit to come back. I don't know if you pay a running back a ton of money who hasn't proven a ton, but I would just assume, and you never want to assume this day and age, I would think he's back, but I would be surprised if he's not. I am curious to see what happens with Parker Jenkins. I thought Parker Jenkins looked pretty good in the bowl game in his limited carries. Now, the problem is he's got 1 year of eligibility left. He's one of those guys who I think could make an improvement next year if he chooses to stick it out, but he also probably wants to go somewhere he's guaranteed to play. And, you've got DeJuan Lacey who will be back from injury. I think you'll see ECU add at least 2 running backs in the portal just because you need some depth there. They don't have any freshmen right now. Eddie Love got kicked off the team. They don't have anybody signed this class, so they need numbers at running back, not just talent. So I would expect some additions even if Engelman's back. All right, so in addition to the Pirates losing some players to the portal, which we expected, we've officially reached #RunItBack season, Phillip. And I'm not a huge fan of this, but, this is just the times we're in. We're now at the point where we need individual players to announce with a graphic that they're coming back. And I was told yesterday morning 15 players around that had signed contracts. More had been offered. And so we've now reached the point where guys are announcing their returns, even like non-starters. So I don't know how you feel about this, but at least it gives us some confirmation of who's back and who's maybe not.
I guess it makes me sleep easier for the next 2 weeks, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, the #RunItBack and the whole announcement thing might be a little cheesy, but if they just, I guess if they just tweet something, as long as they're not making some big deal out of it, I guess it's okay. Yeah, it's kind of weird, but like you said, it's the nature of the business, so they've got to announce it somehow. I respect their dedication. Heck, the portal's not even officially open yet. Yeah, I'm sure they've been contacted by other teams, illegally. And so, but technically, for legal standpoints, we can say they're not even looking, right? Because you can't technically look until you enter on the 2nd. And here we are 3 days out from that, and they're saying they're going to stay. So, look, it's better than the alternative, I guess. Yeah, it's kind of cheesy, but whatever. Like, better than that than them being gone. So, hey, come on, let's go Pirate Nation.
Here are the guys who have announced thus far on social media. Kieran Davis, defensive end, played a good role off the bench this year. I think we'll see more snaps next year. And we'll see if Josiah Robinson's back. I heard he got an extra year of eligibility. So, of course, you lose J.D. Lampley, but you get Kieran Davis back. DeJuan Lacey, running back. We talked about it, coming off surgery. He will be back. Aiden Duncanson, safety, who played. By the way, ECU had to win that Military Bowl with Tegan Wilk and Jamarly Riddle on the bench. Aiden Duncanson and Kamari McKinley were playing safety for the majority of that game, especially late when Wilk was out. So Aiden Duncanson back. Bryce Weaver, D.H. Conley product, local starting offensive lineman. He'll be back for his senior year. He has announced, also announcing their return. This morning we got the big news that Preston Carr, ECU defensive tackle, I can't read his caption on the website, or excuse me, I can't read his caption on the air, but he says, "I'm a blank pirate." Hashtag Pirate Nation, hashtag Harold, yeah. And that's going to fire the people up. So those are some early names we've heard that have announced a return. Expect more on the way. Again, some younger guys. As far as those that we're waiting decisions on, we talked about it, but Jasira Rouse to the portal. I'm expecting Jamarion McCrimmon to enter the portal. He's actually already listed in the portal per 24/7 Sports, but I don't think he's announced anything. There was a tweet that was deleted prior to the bowl game, so we'll see what happens there, but I've heard he's been offered quite a bit of cash. Emmanuel Poku, starting guard, I think could go either way. Brock Spalding, I've heard, is the guy that ECU's offered to return, could go either way as well. So those are some of the names we're waiting on. Then Jamarly Riddle. Tough situation from we're talking transfer portal storylines. Jamarly Riddle, I heard, had a lot of money on the table, decided to play in the bowl game, and still, obviously could get some financial benefit to enter the portal. Obviously, ECU's offered all these guys, I want to make that clear, significant money to stay. So it's not like they're not trying to keep these guys. But if Riddle goes down, is going to have to get surgery on a broken bone from what I've heard. What happens with his future? He's got 2 more years of eligibility. He could probably still go, get paid, but does he come back now for his junior year and then decide between the draft and moving on? I mean, those are decisions that he and his family have to make.
The one thing I will say, Steven, at least it's a broken bone.
Yeah.
I think this day and time with technology, there's a lot less chance of you losing money and opportunities because you had I don't know what the break was.
Right.
If it's a clean break too, as opposed to, something crazy, compound fracture or anything like that. It's not like you tore his Achilles or something.
Yeah, that's a fair point. If he messed up some tendons and muscles as well, along with the broken bone, it makes it more complicated. But if it's a clean break, yeah, I mean, typically those are easy. I won't say easy, but easier fixes compared to an ACL or something crazy like that. So, or an Achilles or something. So, again, we'll keep you up to date. But those are kind of the big names to watch. Jaron Waiters entered the portal yesterday. Kind of a surprising move. He got his first start in the bowl game, 6 career catches, and he opts to move on. So, David on YouTube asked, how many entering the transfer portal will actually ever receive any money? I mean, if you're an established guy with tape, you're going to get some cash, but there are going to be a lot of players who think they're going to get paid something who will not get paid anything, particularly those who have not proven anything. There's just too many people in the portal. There's already over 3,000 entries, and the portal hasn't even opened yet. We're talking about actual people officially in the portal. The portal does not open until this Friday, January 2nd, and it runs through the 16th. So now guys can enter the portal in that window. Something to keep in mind, you can still recruit players after that window, but ECU, the semester, I believe, starts, the 12th, somewhere around there. And so ECU's got to move quickly. Most schools start mid to early January, so they got to move and get players in quickly. It's going to be this is going to be a crap show. I'm just going to say it what it is. I mean, I understand why they went to this one window, but doing it as late as they did, and with the semesters being the way they are, you're at times, I bet you're not even going to be able to get guys on campus to visit. It's just going to come down to, hey, how much can you pay me? All right, I'll be there on January 12th.
Well, Steven, the reason why they backed it up is so guys wouldn't opt out of bowl games. Don't you know?
Glad we did that.
That's why it's so late.
I mean, it's just we got to find a way to fix this because now it's putting even more stress on the teams. All right, somebody asked about the North Texas quarterback. Mestamaker would $2 million get ECU the North Texas quarterback. It would get ECU's foot in the door, but I think it would take more than that. I think he's probably going to get $2.5–3 million. I mean, he's probably top 5 quarterback on the transfer market, unless he just had a tremendous relationship with Jordan Davis, the North Texas offensive coordinator, and he just really loved him, wanted to follow him here. I think that would be the only way. So, I mean, the more likely scenario is he follows Eric Morris to Oklahoma State.
Steven, he's not only going to get $2.5 million, he's going to get $2.5 million, and he's going to go to a roster that's got a number 1 receiver that's going to go 22nd in next year's draft. That's the kind of guy place he's going to be, and East Carolina doesn't have that.
Look, most of these guys, if they're looking for a payday, it's just going to be tough. Now, ECU, as we talked about with Caden Hauser, could offer a quarterback in the realm of $1 million. I don't know if they're going to go that route. Maybe they find a guy to pay a couple $100,000 to, 2 guys to pay a couple $100,000 to, let him compete with Chas and Ditta. There's a lot. I'll say this: there's enough names in the quarterback portal right now that I feel pretty good about ECU landing a really solid option there. I think there's enough guys to where ECU is going to be able to pay a pretty proven quarterback to come into play. But once we hear more names, you'll see some visits start to be reported this weekend. I think ECU will have more visits next week, and it'll really start to churn then. But there's just going to be a lot of moving parts. For you, Phillip, what is your biggest position of need outside of quarterback? Let's say Phillip Pilkington is the general manager of ECU football. You're putting it on your board. We know quarterback's at the top. What's right under quarterback for this football team going into next year?
Offensive line. You're losing probably all 5 starters. If not, you're losing at least 4 out of the 5 because 3 of them are seniors. One of them is agent has tweeted out he's going to the portal. So you get Poku back at best. I think Carson Jones can start. He's a good football player, but he's been banged up the last 2 years, right? So what would you say?
I was just going to say we've never seen him play.
Yeah.
Because, he was going to start, but he got hurt.
So, other than that, what do you got? I don't know. You need 7. You need 8. You preferably need 9. So, I'm sure there's some other guys on the roster that I don't know about that are capable, but I still think you need to go get some guys in the portal. Look, there's receivers out there. There are defensive players on this roster who saw a lot of snaps this year. Yeah, we need to add some depth to the defense, but I think that this last couple classes have had some decent freshmen, guys who maybe didn't play, this past year. They're going to step in and be that solid number 2 that are going to get 15 snaps a game next year. Offensive line, though, you better get some.
I will say this. I feel you're still going to have to add some pieces on defense, but I'm with Phillip. Like, looking at the defense and the amount of youth that kind of stepped in as the year went on, rotationally, or as the year went on, there were more injuries, like KJ Merrill at nickel corner. Your younger corners got some run in the bowl game. I talked about the safeties earlier, your younger linebackers, your D-line. Like, I feel good about the defense. You add some pieces there. Offensively, I don't feel nearly as good about the depth, and I think offensive line is the easy answer. I'll go receiver, though, for me. Assuming Brock Spalding returns, even if he does, like, he's a slot guy. I mean, he could play outside, but he's a slot-type build. You need, a guy with speed, another high on Dawson Quarterman, the incoming freshman, but he's an incoming freshman. You can never bank on that, in my opinion. You need a guy who can stretch the field vertically on the outside on one side, and you need a possession receiver, kind of like a Yannick Smith, and then with an Anthony Smith. And, obviously Yannick's gone. Obviously Anthony's gone. So you have some internal candidates, but to me, you don't have a slam dunk on the roster who can step in as a number 1 or number 2 option outside of Brock. And so, that's my biggest question is there that type of guy on the transfer portal market, or can they develop him internally? We'll find out this offseason.
I was going to say, Addison texts in without a solid offensive line, nothing else matters. So
this is very true.
Appreciate you being on my side with this, Addison.
I would go O-line. I'd try to get you do have Bryce Weaver coming back. Carson Jones is back, and they've got some younger guys they're developing. But, you got to get 2 starting caliber linemen and then hopefully 2 starting caliber receivers. And that's not going to be cheap. That's going to eat up a lot of your budget. But I think ECU, along with the quarterback, has to spend this offseason to get some talent. All right, let's get a break in. We'll come back. We will wrap up the show after this.
Don't miss year-end deals during the Season of Giving at Greenville Toyota. Drive a new Camry, just $229 a month. $229 a month. Or new RAV4, $279 a month. $279 a month. Hurry in for the Season of Giving at Greenville Toyota.
You know what the problem is with standard belts? Usually you have to choose between too tight or the opposite, too loose. But with Anson Belt and Buckle, you don't have to choose. We got rid of the holes and instead have a track system designed for micro-adjustability. That way you can enjoy a perfect fit every time. Anson Belt and Buckle. Find your perfect fit today.
Daughtridge Gas and Oil has been your dependable propane supplier for 95 years. Their trained technicians can service and properly install all your propane and natural gas appliances. Plus, Daughtridge Gas and Oil is your backyard expert with fire pits, grills, smokers, and more, including quality outdoor furniture at their Greenville Patio and Hearth Shop at 1901 Charles Boulevard. Go by and see the knowledgeable staff at Daughtridge Gas and Oil for propane delivery or call 756-1345.
Other restaurants claim their food is fresh and fast, but are they friendly? At Moore's, you're treated like family the minute you walk into their doors. With locations in Winterville, New Bern, Swansboro, Morehead City, and Jacksonville, we've been practicing what we preach since 1945. At Moore's, our barbecue is slow cooked and smoked over real wood daily until it's so tender it's falling off the bone. Combined with our fresh chicken, cooked-to-order seafood, and homemade fixins, we're sure you'll agree. If it's not Moore's, it's less.
Your confidence makes everything look good. You see the world in vivid color, not black and white. Swing through your neighborhood Fantastic Sam's Cut in Color and let our experienced stylists take you from everyday to extraordinary.
Fantastic Sam's hair salons are locally owned and operated. Our full-service salons are conveniently located in Goldsboro, Kinston, Greenville, New Bern, Jacksonville, and Calabash. Stop in today at Fantastic Sam's, where the possibilities are endless.
The Season of Giving is here at Greenville Toyota. Unwrap a new Corolla, $159 a month, $159 a month. Or new Tacoma, $219 a month, $219 a month. Don't miss the Season of Giving with year-end deals at Greenville Toyota.
Climb aboard as we set sail and hoist the colors.
Ahar, matey!
Back to the show with Steve and I go on 94.3 The Game.
Final few minutes here, hoist the colors before the New Year's Day holiday. Again, we're off the rest of the week. Final few comments, Philip Pilkington producing today. So, questions here. Did you see Chase Sowell re-enter the transfer portal? Alan West wants to know, did any chance Chase Sowell comes back? I'm going to say no, he's not coming back. I would say maybe he goes to Wake Forest where Darrell Roberts went, but I don't know. I'm sure Sowell got a pretty good payday at Iowa State. He had 500 receiving yards, but he's going to his fourth school. And this to me is like, again, I don't dislike Chase, but it's just these guys who are transferring for the third, fourth time. It's just a little much. I don't think he's coming back to ECU. I'd be surprised. Shane says, are there any North Texas or Memphis transfers we're looking at with the coaches coming to ECU? Absolutely. This is a big reason why, not the reason, but a reason why you hire these guys. Sitting coordinators at schools within the conference that lost their head coaches. So guess what? Half of North Texas's team's in the portal. Half of Memphis is in the portal. Now, I do want to clarify, the top line guys, Mestamaker, Wyatt Young, etc., they're probably going to go to either Oklahoma State or someone in the Power 4. But there are those midline guys, same thing with Memphis, which has a lot of big-time talent. Hey, maybe they were part-time starters. Hey, maybe they're coming off an injury. But those coordinators, they're going to know exactly who can play at this level and who can't. They're coming from the same conference. So I expect them to bring at least a couple on each side. North Texas, I think, has 4 running backs in the portal. So I'd expect one of those guys. Obviously, Hawkins, he can pick where he wants to go. But I think that you'll see a couple of those guys. Danny Rice wants to know, was the Nebraska quarterback discussion a reality? I haven't heard a word about Dylan Raiola coming to ECU. And I'm going to guess, Phillip, that's not going to happen. What are your expectations before we wrap up here at quarterback? Like, do you think ECU lands a big name, or is it more of a FCS, lower FBS guy? I think that's more likely the answer.
It's either an FCS star or Caden Hauser situation where he's coming from kind of a defunct program, but it's proven that he's not a bad D1 quarterback at the Power 4 level.
If I could have my pick, and I don't know how realistic it is, Jalen Rayner from Arkansas State, undersized, but can sling it, can run around, from North Carolina, multi-year starter, has won some big games, accurate. I think maybe he's not on the big radar, but he'd be a great fit for ECU, and you could pay him enough to come here. But that's who I would target, someone like that. Obviously, the Western Carolina quarterback we talked about also would be a potential candidate if he doesn't have too big interest. But there's going to be a lot of quarterbacks. There's going to be a lot of discussion. We're off the rest of this week. Stay tuned to hoistthecolors.net for the latest. We'll be back Monday, 12 noon. Appreciate Phillip. Appreciate Marc Miller. We'll see you next week. Have a good New Year's, everybody.